Recognize the member for Newmarket Aurora.
To the Minister of Health. Speaker, rather than getting answers and getting closer to answers regarding the scandal at Orange, through our public hearings, we actually are getting more questions. Witnesses are coming forward and they are giving conflicting answers under oath. Ministry officials are evasive in their responses. The minister continues to defend a dysfunctional organization that continues to put patients at risk. And now the deputy minister joins in on the obstruction of the work of the committee. This letter was sent to committee members last evening, and it is in response to very specific information that we have requested pursuant to Standing Order 110B. I'd like to know, does the minister know what her deputy has said in this letter, and does she support it?
Minister of Health.
Speaker, to the Minister of Community and Social Services.
Community Services.
Mr. Speaker, I think that we should allow the committee to do its work. Not counting this morning and Mr. Fred Rusk, who appeared in front of Orange, the Public Accounts Committee has sat for 40 hours. 38 witnesses have come forward. We've learned a lot, Mr. Speaker. We've learned about the dying days of the Harris-Eve government, that the PC Minister of Health, Tony Clement, paid tens of thousands of dollars to prominent Conservatives Lynn Golding, Guy Journo and Kevin McCarthy to set up Chris Maz's corporate structure for him. We found out, Mr. Speaker, that Lynn Golding and Guy Journo, two of the most prominent Conservatives in Ontario, were the ones who, in fact, advised Dr. Mazza on how he could hide his salary. Mr. Speaker, we learned about Kelly Mitchell and the thousands of dollars that he was paid to schmooze members of the opposition, including the member who just asked the question. Mr. Speaker, we heard about the Oshawa Airport and the fact that the matter was that although Orange said
supplementary question.
Oshawa Airport,
Supplementary question. Member for Newmarket Aurora.
Once again, it's apparent that the minister doesn't know what her deputy minister is doing, and she asked the House Leader to answer her questions.
Unbelievable.
Under Standing Order 110B, the committee has requested very straightforward information. One of those requests was that we receive information regarding a proposal that Orange made to the government in January of 2011. The Deputy Minister's response is as follows. We wish to clarify that the responsive documents are subject to solicitor-client privilege. No information. I'd like to know from the Minister of Health, who is the solicitor, who is the client, who is she representing, and why are they hiding this information from the committee?
Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I know that the honourable member would want to make sure that all members of the legislature know the overall request that was given, and that was for investigation reports. Mr. Speaker, I think members of this legislature understand that an investigation report, by its very nature, all one has to do is cross-reference it with media reports, in fact could contain very, very sensitive personal health information. Mr. Speaker, what the Deputy Minister has said is that he wants to work with the committee in a way to make sure that that information comes forward without personal health information being jeopardized. Mr. Speaker, we are not on some crazy fishing expedition across the way, and I think the honourable member should be respecting the privacy of Ontarians.
Supplementary, the member for Newmarket Aurora.
Speaker, the House Leader is absolutely right. They are not on a fishing expedition. They are on a cover-up expedition. That's what they're doing.
Be seated, please. Be seated, please.
If the Minister of Health is going to have the House Leader answer her questions, he should at least get it right. The issue that he's referring...
That's unparliamentary, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, and because of the response of the House, I have to ask the member to withdraw that unparliamentary comment.
Respond, Speaker.
Pardon?
I'll withdraw. But it doesn't change the fact that they are hiding information that legitimately the committee has asked for. The House Leader has not answered my question. It is not the motion that I was speaking to. The motion that I was speaking to has nothing to do with investigations. Will the House Leader get it right? We are asking for background information, all correspondence relating to a proposal made regarding Orange in January of 2011. Why is that being hidden under the guise of solicitor-client privilege? I'd like to know.
I'm going to call
Mr. Speaker, again, I think that all of us recognize the place to have these discussions is within the committee, not within the 30 or 40 seconds within question period. The simple fact of the matter is, Mr. Speaker, and the member knows this as an experienced parliamentarian, is there are rules around protecting personal information, there are rules around solicitor-client privilege, and there are ways for ministries to work out with committee to make sure that that information is put forward. And to stand up here today, Mr. Speaker, like a cross between Perry Mason and Atticus Finch and try to pretend, Mr. Speaker, that we are doing nothing more than follow the usual rules and procedures is a disservice to the committee and a disservice to the fine public servants at the Ministry of Health who are trying to cooperate in a way that protects the rights of the people of Ontario.
The member for Newmarket Aurora.
Thank you. The last thing this government is trying to do is cooperate. What we're trying to do in that committee is to, in fact, do our work, and we are not asking for anything that has never been asked for before. Straightforward.
Who's the question to? Who's the question?
Ask the question back to the Minister of Health and see if she might answer this time. I'd like to know from the Minister of Health, will she look at this letter? Will she tell the House whether she agrees with the way that her deputy is hiding information from our committee? Why will the minister not get on our side, that is, the side of the people who want to find out what went wrong, who was responsible, and the only way we'll ever do that is if we get the information that's buried deep in the Ministry of Health that they're now covering up.
Again, just like 2 minutes ago I asked you to withdraw at the other unparliamentary remark. I need to ask you to do it again.
I'll withdraw the word cover up.
You have to withdraw categorically. Thank you. Minister.
Community and Social Services.
You know, Speaker, saying it louder and saying it with that Hollywood drama doesn't make it correct. The simple fact, Mr. Speaker, is that the committee has asked the Ministry of Health for information. What the Ministry has said is that it wishes to work with the committee to furnish that information to the committee in a way that protects private information and complies with parliamentary tradition, parliamentary and legal conventions, Mr. Speaker. That is all that has happened here. This is a matter that should be dealt with by the committee. This has been going on for years in this place, that committees get access to information which, because of the nature of it, there has to be negotiations between the two parties to ensure that everyone is protected.
Supplementary. Member for Nepean Carleton.
Thanks very much.